What's up everybody, Channel Pup here, and today we're going to be looking at a few pieces of Spider-Man No Way Home concept art that shows off a very different movie to the one that we actually got in the end. And just a reminder, these videos are made possible by my supporters on this platform, so if you do want to support me, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description below. Now, it's pretty well known that Spider-Man No Way Home had some production troubles, including very late in the game script changes. There have been talks of a very early version that was meant to feature Kraven the Hunter. Now, I'm not saying that everything we're seeing here is stuff that was necessarily cut out of the movie, but stuff that was at one stage on the cards. So before you guys all go saying release the What's cut or whatever, a lot of the stuff that you'll see here might have been planned, but it wasn't necessarily shot. And we'll also just be looking at some other miscellaneous bits of concept art as well, different character designs and different ideas for how certain scenes would play out. Let's start off with the one though that's like the real blockbuster, the one that everyone's going to be talking about, and that is the reveal that Mysterio was going to be in the film, and that he possibly may have been the 6th member of the Sinister Six, as we see him here fighting it out against Doctor Strange. Kinda stupid when you think about it, because how the hell is Mysterio gonna fight Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange is literally Mysterio if Mysterio were real. I guess he could fool him, but I feel like Doctor Strange is gonna have really good instincts in that kind of situation. It'd be cool to see play out though, I guess. Now, I'm the biggest Mysterio fan in the world. I fucking love Mysterio, and I loved Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, and I've been vehemently of the belief that he's not dead. I'll probably make a video later down the line on why he's definitely not dead at the end of Far From Home. But, like, for now, we're just going to talk about this piece of concept art here and what it would have entailed for Spider-Man No Way Home. I think it would also just be awesome to be able to say, hey, we've got the Sinister Six, but we know that Sony are planning on saving the proper Sinister Six for a later movie down the line. So maybe Mysterio's return will be saved for a movie later down the line. Maybe he'll be part of the Sinister Six of MCU Spider-Man villains. But it does go to show that they are not treating Mysterio's death as final, even though this wasn't in the film in the end. Like, the fact that there was a possibility of Mysterio returning and being present for the final battle and being here in this concept art does go to show that they're not treating Mysterio as though he's dead, and they shouldn't. But also, not to mention, just because Quentin Beck dies, if he is dead, that is, that doesn't mean Mysterio dies. Like, there's been plenty of people that have taken up the mantle of Mysterio in the comic books, and there were plenty of people involved with Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, so we can't rule out that maybe we'd be seeing William as Mysterio or something. Now, I'm gonna say this, massive Mysterio fan here, I don't think this would have worked for this film. It would have been too much. Let me explain why. The Green Goblin has fucked up Peter's life at this point. And, like, it's cool to see him so laser-focused on ending him in the 3rd act of this film. I feel like having Mysterio in here would really kind of dilute that, because now it's like, oh, it's the guy that really is responsible for all of this happening. So it's like Mysterio and Goblin are kind of the two guys that completely fucked up Peter's life. But, like, the Goblin should have been the focus in No Way Home, as he was, which is great. And I hope that we will see Mysterio again someday, possibly fighting against a black-suited Spider-Man. How awesome would that be? Peter gets the black suit in the next one, and he discovers that Mysterio is still alive and goes to wail on him. And Mysterio doesn't even know why, because he's completely forgotten who Peter Parker is. Boom. Great movie right there. Make it happen. But for now, when it comes to Spider-Man No Way Home, Green Goblin's the man of the hour, and rightly so. Let's look at another one that people have been talking about quite a little bit. It appears that America Chavez was meant to appear in Spider-Man No Way Home, or at least intended to at an early stage, as we can see her here on a bumper carts course, which has all of Peter's friends in there, including Flash and Betty Brant. I'm not sure when in the timeline this was supposed to take place. Is this in the Sanctum Sanctorum? Because it's got those overhead lights, but then again, bumper cars do have that, and I can see a Ferris wheel in the back. Like, at what point would Peter have had the time to go to a carnival in this movie? But as well as that, not a fan of the trend in, well, like, the idea of just slotting random Marvel characters into Spider-Man stories just because, you know, you got to prove you're in the MCU. I think it worked with Doctor Strange. I think it worked fine with Iron Man, and I think it worked fine with Nick Fury. But it's like, I think once it comes to America Chavez, it does very much look like she's been slotted in here. And as we can see in another piece of artwork, where she appears to be rooting for Spider-Man on Staten Island, and it's just like, yeah, she's just kind of there cheering him on. It's enough, you know, you got 3 Spider-Men up against the Sinister Five, and, you know, Ned and MJ caught in the mix. it's better that they focus up, and I think that is what the movie has done, going by, the transition from this artwork through to the final film. Moving along, we have Doctor Strange throwing Peter through the window of a cafe, definitely giving me some Spider-Man 2 vibes there. And I'm guessing this will be in the mirror dimension, because I can't imagine that Doctor Strange will just throw Spider-Man at innocent people. You can see that they've used a Hot Toys figure as the base for this artwork, and I think that's pretty cool. I like Hot Toys figures. I don't own one, but I would love to someday. But yeah, I have got a cool Spider-Man figure that I will show you in the future, so keep that in mind. Now here we have the famous bridge scene. And, the big thing that's different here is that we can see that Green Goblin is also going after Spider-Man. So Green Goblin might have played a more involved role in this scene. Also, this looks to be a different bridge, but I don't know my landmarks, so I can't really tell you that. But it looks like they've really destroyed this bridge, and Spider-Man's just swinging away to safety. It looks like this was going to be a much more violent or destructive scene. Now, I would love to see, more of that bridge scene. Allegedly, John Watts says that in one cut, the bridge scene was going to be like 15 minutes, and I would love to see all 15 of those minutes. I hope we get that as like a special feature on the DVD, because, more action, I can't complain about that. But I would love to see, Green Goblin and Spider-Man throw down in the opening scene. Obviously, in the actual film, he just gets transported to the Sanctum Sanctorum. But, yeah, just, it shows a different vision. I mean, this could have been done when the script was at a very early stage as well, but it shows that at some stage there was potential for the Green Goblin to rock up to that battle for more than just a few seconds. Moving along, we have this really cool artwork of Peter suspended outside of Happy's condo, sort of above the entire city, and I love the look of this. This would have made a cool shot. I mean, there weren't exactly many opportunities for Spider-Man to have, an introspective, just sitting there moment, and Happy's talking to him and such. I don't see where you would have fit this in the film, but it's a really cool concept. I think this was really to sell the studio on the idea of Happy's condo and everything, and it looks cool. It's a really nice shot, and yeah, I don't know how high above ground Happy's condo was in the actual film exactly. I don't think it was this high, overlooking the entire city, but yeah, no, it's a cool concept, and I'm glad it kind of played out in the film, Then, of course, it all comes tumbling down as Norman is crashing through the floor with Spider-Man in his grasp, which looks really cool. Yeah, no, love that, and love that it basically played out the same way in the film. Cool piece of artwork, and we very much got a shot like that in the film. Of course, Peter wasn't masked. I always like seeing Spider-Man in his mask, but hey. And here we have Peter laying on the ground in the debris, and he's wearing the full Iron Spider suit as opposed to just the integrated suit, which was just made up of the little bits of Iron Spider that was salvaged by Doctor Octavius. And, yeah, so I wonder how this would have played out. Would Peter have gotten the full Iron Spider back? Or, yeah, no, would he have... Does he actually have access to that now? I don't think he does. Interesting. Now let's look at a little more of the Statue of Liberty throwdown, because, obviously that's one of the most fun scenes ever. We've got Spider-Man in his Iron Spider suit going up against Norman Osborn, who's attacking Ned and MJ. We didn't really get anywhere near as much of that in the actual film. And there appears to be a little more as well with the Statue of Liberty's hand attached to the Captain America shield. And Norman, going down and tormenting Spider-Man, who's now in his homecoming suit. I think, that might just be for the sake of example. I get the feeling they were kind of unclear on what they wanted Spider-Man wearing during that final fight. And I think one of the VFX guys has even said that the integrated suit was a last-minute addition to this film. And I think I can explain why that was done, but I think I will do that in a future video and not in this. So here we have the 3 Spider-Men stood atop the Statue of Liberty. And yeah, it's a really cool shot. They definitely emulated this in the film when they all come landing down for their big hero moment. And I gotta say, it was cooler there because it was more epic. They were doing more Spidey poses. But yeah, really cool. And then, we got another one of them stood atop the Statue of Liberty, facing off against the Green Goblin, Otto Octavius behind them, Ned and MJ rushing through in the back there. It looks really cool. It's just a cool piece of artwork. And if we zoom in and look at the Spideys, we can see that Tobey's pretty much wearing the same costume he wore in the final film. Tom Holland is wearing this very strange version of the Homecoming outfit. And then Andrew Garfield is wearing what appears to be the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit, possibly with hybridized Amazing Spider-Man 2 eyes. Now, I think that would have been kind of smart to have him in that first movie suit, just to make him differentiate with Tobey a little better, because from a distance, they do look the same, but, at the same time, I do prefer the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, so, you know, go figure. But yeah, really cool piece of artwork here. So next we're going to look at some concept artwork of the Raimi Spider-Man villains, which has been recently released. So first up, we've got Doctor Octavius, who he did get a very slightly different look in No Way Home with the new turtleneck and the slightly greener jacket. But here it appears they were going for a very different sort of look, as they gave him more of like a grey cardigan as opposed to that long matrixy jacket. And it doesn't quite have the same effect. He doesn't look quite as sinister, so hence why they went back to sort of more the Spider-Man 2 look. And, you know, I think if you're going to have those returning villains, yeah, generally preserve their old looks as much as you can, or at least to some extent like they did in the final product. So hence how we evolved into this piece of artwork here. Then we have Sandman. And so this would have been going off of the assumption that Thomas Hayden Church would have had a physical performance in the film, as opposed to being entirely CGI sand. So what we got here is kind of like an evolution of his Raimi kind of look. The Raimi look did a lot to bring that comic booky looking Flint Marko to the big screen with his, you know, his striped green shirt. And here they've reinterpreted that as like a puffy jacket with the sort of lines going through it. Definitely don't like that as much. Seems almost kind of a little try-hardy. Not bad, but like, yeah, no, definitely a downgrade there. But, you know, I guess I would have liked to have seen a little more of a physical performance in No Way Home, but hey, Sandman, who's fully made of sand at all times, was pretty entertaining. And then next up, we have Green Goblin's new look, and obviously, yeah, he did get quite a drastic redesign in the second half of the film. I mean, we did see a little bit of the classic Goblin, but only briefly. But, like, yeah, so here we can still see, you know, he is wearing, you know, the sort of... He's wearing different clothes over his Green Goblin armor, giving him that sort of classic goblin-y look. But here he's got, like, a green jacket on as well, which was later changed into the green Jim Jams. And his purple hoodie now says Hammer Software on it, 2003. That I don't like, because, again, it feels like, oh, yeah, we're just going to slip a little MCU reference onto Green Goblin's iconic purple tunic. And it's like, yeah, okay, we get it. It's in the MCU, guys. But, like, you know, it looks like the Green Goblin. It's a cool design. It's pretty modern. It's pretty up-to-date. I could just do without that Marvel reference. I like the end product a lot better. It definitely gives more of a classic Goblin kind of feel. So I guess that's all the concept art will do for now, as that's the stuff I have the most to say about. But, you know, go out there and look for concept art and look at it, because I think there's some real talent on display here. And, I mean, obviously there is for them to have gotten as far as they have into, like, the industry and everything. But, like, I really love a lot of these designs, and, you know, it can show you a different perspective on the film. And I think, you know, a lot of this concept art really does show a very different sort of movie, and show us a little bit of what could have been. I'm overall incredibly happy with the final product we got with No Way Home. I'm just very intrigued to see, you know, different takes and stuff. So, yeah, that's me, yeah, stick around for the next video, I guess. So what do you guys think? If you enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And of course, in the description below are links to different social media feeds, including the Patreon. If you're feeling extra generous, like the following people, who are JK Strife, Marcus Ward, Sirius the Skeptic, Biotin Arts, Mr. SP, David 20 Covers, Sergio, John Comey, Shodin, George is Lost, Legendary Ray Ray, Cheesemaster769, Adam Myers, and Fayalan Schwarzentraub. Thank you guys, you are the best of the best, but as for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.